cord injury to include athletes with physical impairments that affect their lower limbs or hips, or athletes with short stature. Female powerlifters made their Paralympic debut in 2000. Powerlifting is the ultimate test of upper body strength, and you'll often see athletes lifting more than 3 times their own body weight. Powerlifters are split into 10 different categories based on body weight for each gender. Powerlifting consists of one discipline, a bench press. Unlike the able-bodied sport where athletes use their feet on the floor to assist the bench press, Paralympic athletes lie totally flat on a completely different style of bench. Each competitor has 2 minutes to complete their attempt. When the lifter has the bar under full control, they must wait until they receive the command, start. Start! Then they have to lower the bar in a controlled manner and definitively stop it on the chest. Next, they press it upwards, lock out both elbows simultaneously and hold the bar under control until the referees command to wrap. At least 2 white lights are required from 3 referees for a good lift. A red light indicates a bad lift. Athletes have 3 attempts, and the winner is the athlete that lifts the heaviest weight. In the 3rd round, 2 weight changes are permitted. The weight change can be higher or lower. No changes are allowed if the lifter has already been called to the platform by the speaker, and or if the bar has already been loaded. To attempt a new record, it must exceed the previous one set by a minimum of 0.5 kilograms. Where a world record is broken during the actual 3 lifts of competition, the 0.5 kilograms does not count towards the competition total, but is rounded down to the full kilogram. The jury may allow a 4th attempt for a world record. This adds suspense to the competition, as a lifter could break the world record but may not win gold. Powerlifting offers a tense and dramatic spectacle where coaches have to be good strategists as their athletes battle to outlift their rivals.
Representing Israel, Polina Katzman. Representing Republic of Korea, Cho Soon-jong. Representing Mexico, Maria Lira Partida. Representing Netherlands, Milaika Tynfort. Representing United States of America, Ashley Dice. And representing Brazil, Marcia Menezes. These are the athletes in the women's over 86 kilo Group B session. First attempt starts in about 3.5 minutes time.
So the women's over 86 kilo final wraps up the week for the women. We start off with Adelina Ncheta, you see, with 75 kg for the Philippines, all the way to Marcia Menezes, a former World Championship bronze medalist. Nursia Mohammed, Katerina Laserva and Conrado Brenatri are our referees for this final women's event. And actually quite a few in Group B have major international medals to the name already. Here's our jury for the final women's event of the 2021 World Powerlifting Championships. Men's competitions wrap up tomorrow, and we've got the team championship on Monday. But for now, it's the final women's event coming, the women's over 86 kilo. So coming up, the women's over 86 kilo final to wrap up the women's events in Bmmulis.
You're ready for powerlifting? The bar is ready, 75 kilos.
So let's start off with an athlete with magnificent honours to her name, as she is the 5-time Southeast Asian champion, a Paralympic bronze, Sydney 2000, Asian Games, silver medalist twice, bronze medalist once, twice at Asia Oceania silver medalist as well for the Philippines, Adeline and Cheta. 75 kilos she's going for in the opening round. This the highest of the women's weight divisions. Greetings to you wherever you're watching. This is the joint earliest start we've actually had this week in Bmmulis, 9:30 a.m. There's a lot to cram in for the next 12 hours. And we'll be wrapping up the heaviest of the men's competitions over the next 2 days as well. Well, up to this stage, she's had an absolutely brilliant career. In terms of World Championship action, it goes back quite a long way for her. But this was 75 to get the competition started. And it's good. It's a good lift. All three for Adeline and Cheta. Oh, white out. And well, if she can keep that going, that'll be very pleasant for a Saturday morning. The 8th day of action that we've had here, the 7th day of the Senior Championships. We wrap up with the team competitions on Monday. Next up, Philippia, another woman with a long and storied career dating back to the 1998 World Championships. Her lifetime best is 90, going back to African Championships in Cairo in 2009, and she's looking to equal her lifetime best here. She's been involved in World Championship action since 1998. This, however, only her 3rd World Championships. 8th in 98 in Dubai, 5th in 2014 in Dubai, 9th at Sydney 2000, no mark in her 2nd and most recent Paralympic Games, which were in Rio. But the African champion of 2009, that's where her lifetime best comes from, bronze in the revived African Championships in 2015, and she was the flag bearer at the opening ceremony for Libya in Rio in the 2016 Paralympic Games. High finishes as well in the African Games in 03, where she was 6th, the Arab Championships in 07, when she was 4th. Let's see how she does here. Alakuri, starting off with 80 actually. So she's giving herself a bit of a berth before she attempts the 90, which has been a lifetime best for a long time. And she's going to get closer to it this morning. That's 3 out of 3. That's lovely by Gisala Alakuri. And 23 years after her first World Championships, she is in the lead at the World Championships. Next up, and a contrast from our first 2 competitors, it is a major championship debut for Cuba's Jaime Bongo Medina. Her first major championship comes at the age of 29, and she has lifted 90 previously, and she's going for 90 now. with this, she's aiming for a new lifetime best. So Yaimi Bongo Medina going for 90. This to hit the front for Cuba in a major championship debut. It's no lift, it's 2 against her on the chess sequence. Well, she had the strength to lift it, there was no problem about that. The technique is something that she'll have to try and iron out. It's great to have Cuba here. They've brought a reasonably small team, a team of 2, if memory serves. Six nations here for the first time. Paulina Katzman comes here for Israel, the European Championship bronze medalist in Berkshire 3 years ago, her lifetime best 126 of that Manchester World Cup. We've seen Cyprus, Haiti, Peru, Portugal, Senegal and Sierra Leone. Those are the 6 nations that have sent athletes for the first time. 8 countries have sent female athletes for the first time, including Cyprus, including Haiti, and Portugal and Sierra Leone. Well, Kyrgyzstan have sent a woman for the first time, actually. We mentioned that yesterday. El Salvador, Ghana have sent a woman for the first time. Panama. And in terms of the men, Haiti, Peru, Senegal and Sierra Leone have a man here for the first time, and they're all making their major championship debuts. And Diego Quispe immediately jumps to mind, although we have seen him in the likes of the Pan Ams and the Americas Championships quite successfully. Paulina Katzman going for 90. And this, on the head-to-head basis, would put her in front. And she's got that. Into the lead, Paulina Katzman. She's been on the European circuit quite a lot. Obviously, Israel compete in European sport. Bronze in 2018 in the Euros in Berkshire, and 5th in 2015. 4th when she made her European Championship debut in Alexandra Russia in 2013. As we go to Cho Sun-jung and her major championship debut for Korea at the age of 39. And she's aiming for a new lifetime best of 93. There's quite a few of you might remember Cho Suk-ja, who has been competing for many years for South Korea. And now Cho Sun-jung, 93, aiming for a lifetime best, and this will be for the first 5 lifts of the competition being successful if she gets it. And she has. White out, 3 out of 3. Successful. Very clear, very clean. And she can go on as well, and that's pretty good for a lifetime best in competition. Nice job. Next up, Maria Lira Partida. She's going for 100. Silver in the last two, which were also the first two America's Championships. 2015 in Mexico City, 2018 in Bogota, 4th in the Pan Ams in Toronto in 2015, 7th most recently in Lima. We've seen her at the World Championships previously. That was in Mexico City, of course it would be. She was 6th in that, still based in her home city of San Luis Potosi. This is for 100. She can go well beyond that, 122 and a half. So this to go out in front. Aiming for the 100, and there's a lot more to come, certainly. Got the technique right. White out, 3 out of 3. 100 for Maria Lira Partida, and she's in top spot. Very little difficulty for her. Now, next up for the Netherlands. Rijke Toenvoort. What a successful time she's had. Paralympic bronze, world silver, European silver, twice. No mark in her last World Championships, which wasn't Nur Sultan, wasn't it that, but she was in Mexico City, no mark in that. Bronze in 2014 in Dubai, her first global medal. She's only been to the Paralympic Games once, but won bronze in that in Rio. Silvers for the last two Europeans in Eger in 2015 in Hungary, and Bec Sumer in northern France, right by the sea in 2018. Now, she's come here on her own. Nobody else from the Dutch delegation. So, as you will see, she is being aided by the coach of the United Arab Emirates. So this 105 for Rijke Toenvoort. Yep, she's our leader. 2 out of 3. That is a very, very good lift, and she leads. Strong lift. She's been here and done it all before. Lifetime best is 130, so 105 won't be a problem. Next up for Brazil, it is Marcia Mendes, the Pan Am and world bronze medalist. And she's going reasonably high as well, close to her lifetime best of 116 in the Kuala Lumpur World Cup at the start of 2016. Aiming in this opening round for 105 and the lead. Menezes with silver in the Americas, the first two Americas Championships, 2015 and 2018, gold in the Rio World Cup in 2016, which was the big test event for the Rio Games. That was in the Carioca Arena as opposed to Rio Centro, as that venue wasn't available yet. Pan Am bronze in 2015 in Toronto. World Championship bronze 2014 in Dubai. Hasn't been a top 10 finisher since. Wasn't in Nur Sultan, was 11th the last time she was at a World Championships, which was in Mexico City 4 years ago, but high finishes in the Paralympic Games, 6th in London, 5th in Rio. Starting in Group B, so she'll be doing very well to reach that same kind of mark here, but going for 105. And that is good. And there's not really much of a problem with that. And again, it's 3 out of 3. The whiteout, and Menezes is our new leader, along with Toinfert on 105. So to wrap up the opening round of Group B for the United States, this is Ashley Dice. 106, a lifetime best, set in Chesterfield, Missouri, and that's the venue for next year's America's Championship. Right on the edge of St. Louis. .108 is what she's looking for in this opening round. And that will be a new lifetime best. She's the former US para javelin champion. Evan Roberts is her coach. Missed the 2018 America's Championships with a shoulder injury. She'd have had a good chance in that. And hence missed the Pan Ams as well. She was out for 6 months. It was a 6-month period that covered pretty much both championships. So unfortunately that was a bit ill-timed, but she's been good on the World Cup circuit since. But here she misses out. All three marking her down in the chest sequence. But she can return. She actually, in quite a few World Cup events, hasn't registered a mark. That includes Manchester this year. And certainly for her first lift, she hasn't. And there's not a lot of obvious contact going on there. Group B underway, round 1. Our leaders, Marcia Menezes of Brazil, Malaika Toinfert of the Netherlands, with Maria Lira in 3rd spot for Mexico. Cho 4th for Korea. Polina Katzman currently in 5th spot for Israel on 90. So back again into round 2, Adelina Ancheta for the Philippines. And if things were going well, she might be coming here as a 7-time Southeast Asian Games champion, but those ASEAN Para Games, the last 2 editions have not taken place, Bangkok and Hanoi. Hanoi would have been around now, but cancelled, along with the edition that was supposed to be in Bangkok early last year. 4 years since they last had one, and it's supposed to be every 2, and sometimes they can knock 2 together in the space of 21 months. Asian Youth Games, by the way, are underway now. Day 3 in Bahrain. A lot of powerlifting in that as well. It's the first time they've been able to hold it since 2017. So this for 80 for Adeline Ancheta, and that is a good lift. That is 3 out of 3. And in her career, because of all the successes she's had, and we're talking about major championship medals going back to 1999. Her lifetime best is way above this. That would have been a while ago. She was the Asian powerlifting champion full stop in 2007. Bench press champion in 99. The first athlete from Philippines to win a Paralympics medal, which was Sydney 2000. Been with the Rondalla band as well. You might remember us mentioning that before. Band where everybody's playing with impairments. Apparently the music's good. They've toured the world, so too has Ghazala Alakouri. For Libya was 80, going now for 88. And this is really close to a lifetime best. Former African champion and most recently bronze medalist in 2015. So for 88, that is good. That is the whiteout. That's 3 out of 3, which is good going on a Saturday morning. Ghazala Alakouri plays that, and both she and Anketa are currently looking well on the way to 3 for 3. So now Jaime Bongo Medina for Cuba, and going again at 90. Again, this would be a new lifetime best. This to go into 6th place. She's got it. After missing in the first round, she's cleared it at 90 and she goes into 6th. 3 out of 3. And that was very well executed. On the way for Korea. So Sun Jung got 93 in the opening round. Now this is for 98. It'll keep her in 4th, but strengthen her hand and get within 2 kilos of the medals as they currently stand, with Group A to come. Lifts at the moment they're due to start with 115. Remember, that'll start in about an hour's time. Has to be that 30-minute gap that we all know about now between the groups. Well, 93 was a nice lift for her earlier, being a new lifetime best, and this would add another. So Sung Jung for 98. And she's got that too. 3 out of 3. She is prospering very well, and there's looking to be a little bit more in the tank too. She could go a nice bit higher, and maybe, just maybe, break through the 100, and maybe get herself out of Group B in the top 3. That was a really well executed lift.
Thank you. The bar is loaded for Israel.
Paulina Katzman next up for Israel. Aiming for the 100, and this, the top 3 spot, and she's the only competitor we regularly see for her country on the para-powerlifting circuit. 7th in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo just gone, 7th in the 2019 World Championships, along with those 2 European medals that she's picked up, actually just the one in 2018. Apologies to her for the 2nd European medal, because I've written a 5 that looks a lot like an S, but she finished 5th in 2015. Well, there's European Championships next year, so I'll try and do that there. Valerie Tomilov is a regular coach, by the way. And hasn't got that. That was a little bit askew-ish. A few different reasons came up for that. Just couldn't quite get that any further on. She does have a lifetime best of 126, but there was, you can call it a momentary lapse or whatever you like. It always depends on how the athlete feels on the day. Maria Lira Partida coming next for Mexico. America's silver medalist in the 2 championships that have been held to date. All going well, potentially a hat-trick when the Americas return next summer in St. Louis. This to take the lead. So 107 for Maria Lira Partida. And this for the lead. we'll see about the evenness of the press. Yeah, 2-1 in her favour. That's fine. Maria Lira Partida hits the front. Really solid, secure effort, which has her high up in the tally.
The bar is ready. Marcia Menezes, Brazil. Second attempt.
Maria Menezes for Brazil. Many medals in her career. 108, this to take the lead. $116, a lifetime best, so she's not very far off. Here's the 2014 World Championship bronze medalist. Pan Am bronze 2015. Silvers at the two Americas Championships held to date, and was in Berkshire for the open element of the European Championships, where those from outside Europe were able to go for medals themselves, and she got the bronze. Based in Londrina.
1 minute.
This for the lead for 108, currently in second place. This to go top. She has to. She is our new leader. And fired up for it too. Wasn't going to be denied that one. There's determination. So for the United States, Ashley Dice going for 108 for the second time, having missed it previously, and it would be a new lifetime best. From Colton in California, graphic designer as well. So 108 to go into the silver medal position now. 2-1 against, and that's chess sequence from both. Well, it was 3-0 against in the last one, so that's a slight improvement, but still no lift. Just having to get that chess sequence right. She's the only competitor to miss her first two lifts so far in this final. Next up for the Netherlands, and a chance to go out in front. Malaika Turnfats for the Netherlands, 105 in the opening round, 110 aiming for now. The European and world silver medalist, the Paralympic bronze medalist. Originally from Suriname, moved to the Netherlands at the age of 14. Suriname has Dutch interest anyway. Lawrence Schouten is her regular coach. And the UAE coach has been given a Dutch jacket, which is great, which reminds me of the Australian coach who was looking after New Zealand at the was the Asia Oceania Championships last time around. It was all well and good, but ended up having two athletes in the same competition in the same group and had to wear different jackets each time. Anyway, quick change, like Lady Gaga. That's 3 out of 3, and she's our leader by a good bit. And there was never any fear of that at all. Only unfortunate thing for really in this competition is the way the opening round pitches have fallen, and she ends up in Group B when she's really good enough for Group A. But that will happen invariably. Raika Turnfert leads, 110. Marcia Menezes in second for Brazil. Maria Lira Partida in third for Mexico. Cho in fourth for Korea, and Polina Katzman in fifth for Israel. Final round. So, Adeline Ancheta from the Philippines, who is one of the few powerlifters with the Wikipedia page. It's a very detailed one, so they've been looking after in the Philippines. Won an immense amount of major championship medals, 10 gold across various championships, 6 silver, 2 bronze. And Ancheta for 90 has got that, and it is 6th spot for Ancheta, and she goes 3 for 3. And you can't say better than that. It was 2-1 in her favour, the one against was the chess sequence, but she's gone 3 for 3. And that puts her into 6th place. And she may have gone much heavier in her career, but to see her still here at the age of 47 competing, more than 20 years after her first major championship medal, her first medal of any kind. The first big games, by the way, a couple of silvers in her time. And Ghazala Al-Khoury was at the same Paralympic Games in Sydney as Ancheta when they made their debut. This for 91, and again this for 3 out of 3. So for 91, she's got that. She got the correct elements right. And that has her clear with all her lifts as well. That was really good from Ghazala Alakouri for Libya. So Polina Katzman coming now. So Katzman missed 100 in the previous round, going for 100 again, and this would see her go up into 4th spot. It's curiosity got the better of me. I've been looking up those results from Sydney 2000, and Anketa and Alakouri, who are in the same division here, might have been a small bit of aptness if they were in the same one in Sydney, but Anketa was in the equivalent of this, and Alakouri was in the later gown, and Katzman has just gone too high in this twice in a row. So no lift for her, and she finishes on 90. It was a leap of 10 kilos, which is often manageable, but she's a lifter who's gone way, way beyond this previously, but not today. Not on this Saturday morning. Wraps up on 90. The spotters who've been really good all week who are very much on the ball. Jaime Bongo Medina for Cuba. Good clearance at 90 in the previous round and looking for 101 here. A new lifetime best in 3 figures, having set a lifetime best of 90 in the previous round. And all against her on the press. Well, she does leave with a lifetime best, and she cleared that so well. And whatever about the technique wasn't right with that, but I mean, she's getting the bar up and wasn't being pressed equally, so it wasn't going to be given to her, but she's having no problem with the actual weight. She can definitely go, well, you tell me, the way she is right now, could go for an extra 10, extra 12. So Sung Jung for Korea, who has cleared 93 and cleared 98 for lifetime best, and this for 101. Well, we've seen Korea hosting some key championships in the past. World Championships in 2006. And what you might realistically call the first modern Paralympics, and that was the first year it was agreed decisively that it would be on in the same city as the Olympic host city. It had been many times prior to that, but unfortunately Moscow and LA did not have a Paralympic Games hosted. They were elsewhere. 88 was the first year that it was agreed that they would be following a format similar to what we have now. There was Seoul 88. No lift this time for Cho. But hopefully we get to see her and a lot of teammates in Korea next year at the Asia Oceania Championships in Pyeongtaek. She's found a limit for the day. Hasn't been able to raise successfully in 3 figures, but actually you look at that, she's actually got the weight, so it wasn't that far away. It was a technique issue as opposed to it just being too heavy. Ashley Dice for the United States at her 3rd World Championships. And looking here to avoid what's befallen her at the 2017 Mexico City World Championships and quite a few World Cups in the past couple of years. And a wipeout. Needs to get this. Actually, if she does get this, suddenly she'll go from nowhere up to 2nd place. Up to this point, everybody else has been able to lift at least 1 mark in this competition. Dice, can she make it to 109? It would be a nice bonus for her, and she has that nice bonus. Well, she suddenly rises all the way to 2nd place. There's still a few to lift, 3 more to lift in this final round of Group B. But Ashley Dice has got herself on the board very high. It was a nice lift, and it's what she was waiting for. Marcia Menezes now looking to hit the front. 112. Finished 5th in the Paralympic Games in Rio. And they had a sticker album actually in Brazil. I think it was actually a Panini sticker album for Rio 2016. And if you're wondering what kind of parasport element was in it, and I can't remember if there was a sticker of her in it. If you're thinking the Paralympics got a few pages in the back, well, let me tell you, every single page open, it was the Olympics on one side, the Paralympics on the other. It was exactly 50-50. It was fantastic. And you know the crowds obviously were good in Rio. Crowds were terrific in London as well. We didn't know the crowds would be not there in Tokyo. So 112 is a target and 116 is a lifetime best. So you consider the international medals that she's won, including that world bronze in Dubai. She's very close to the peak. 112. She liked it. We're only 8 seconds left on the clock. It's 2-1 against. It was the press sequence for both. And Marcia Menezes ends on 108. Well, whether the shake of the head is she felt she might have done a bit better, or something else. Next up for Mexico, Maria Lira Partida going for 112. $122.5 is a lifetime best. You know what the half signifies. There's been an America's record along the way in her career. Paula Bassane is the America's record holder for this. And of course we see her later. So 112 for Maria Lira Partida. Well, we'll see if they thought that was pressed upwards equally. They did. 2-1. She's got that. 112 and she's into the lead. She did enough things right. 3 for 3. She has all her lifts. And Maria Lira Partida even enough, just about. So she leads. Will it be for 2 minutes or for 32 minutes? We have one more attempt to come. And for the Netherlands, Rijke Turnvet going for 115. Lifetime best is 130. Fourth World Championships, debuted in 2010 and didn't make the journey to Nur Sultan. So for 115 for 3 out of 3. Ooh, not this time, no, it's the press sequence, all three were unhappy with that. And she Ends on 110, and she is in second place behind Maria Lira Partida. Just didn't quite get the lift through. Malaika Toonfit in second place on 110. Maria Lira Partida leading for Mexico with 112. Ashley Dyson third for the USA, 109. Marcia Menezes was fourth out of that group for Brazil, and Cho Sun-jung in fifth for Korea. And everybody in the end had a successful lift. Ashley Dyson was the one who was making us wait the longest, but she's in third place. Toonfit in second. Lira Partida is our leader in Group B. Sort of a pity that from the Netherlands, their coach wasn't sent along with Malaika Toonfit. I know they've got a really good para-athletics program. They've got a lot of publicity for it. Fleur Young is on the cover of Women's Health in the Netherlands this month. Obviously, it's a different sport. Might have been nice if a second person had made the trip for them. Anyway, highlights coming of the first group, and you can set your watches. 33 minutes time, Group A will be on the way. Maria Lira Partida in top spot.
That's first ever pair of powerlifting. Good lift, Lira Partida. Spotter loaders, please. 101 kilos. No lift. Jump. Spotter loaders, please. 112 kilos. Good limb. Linea partita.